Hi everyone, my name is Sanjeev. In this video, I'm going to explain how to design API from the information that you gathered in the requirement phase. I will explain how to design RAML specification in Design Center, and I will explain how to publish the API to the exchange. We found following information during requirement phase. An order need to be created, orders need to be retrieved, single order need to be retrieved by ID, single order needs to be deleted by ID, single order need to be updated by ID, and order has following fields. It has ID, it has order number, it has customer name, it has invoice number, it has create date, it has ship date, and it has amount. Based on this information, I'm going to design API endpoints. I will create RAML specification in Design Center. Once we have designed the API endpoints, we will test the API endpoints in Design Center and publish the API to the exchange. Now I will log into the Anypoint platform. I will use my user ID and password to log into the Anypoint platform. Now I will go to the Design Center. Here I will click Create New API Specification. I will enter order in API title. I want to use RAML 1.0, so I will keep this to default. I will click Create API Spec. Here I update the title, order, API. For defining endpoints, I need to use the types and examples. I can create the types and examples inline inside order.raml file, but for better usability, I will create them in a separate file and I will reference those files inside order.raml. So I will create folder. I will create one folder for data type, create, and I will create another folder for example. Click create. Now inside data type, I will create an order data type. So I will click plus new file. I will select the type data type, and here I will change the name to order type. Click create. I need to define properties of the order. Properties colon. So we have property ID. ID I will define as integer. We have another field order number. I will define the order number of type string. Another field we have invoice number. I will define invoice number as a string. Another field we need to define is create date. I will define create date is of type date time. It will contain date and time. Then we have a ship date. Ship date I will keep as date time. Then we need to define amount field, and amount would be of type number. So our order type has been defined. Now I will create examples. So I'll go to the example folder, click plus sign, new file. I will select type as example, and I will give the name order example. Click create. Here I need to define values, ID, 100, order number. I will say ORD, 100, ABC, invoice number, INV, 100, ABC, create date. Create date format would be like this. So I will copy this one and I will make a sample from this. I will change the month to 4. Ship date field, sample will be like this, and I will change the month to 5. Then we need another field, amount, sample. I will give 3200. So order example is ready. Now I will create another example. I will go to the example folder, click plus sign, new file, type example, and here I will give orders example. Click create. Value. So this example will contain array of the orders. So we need to create array. So we got the first element. We will copy the values from here. This is the first order. Now I will add one more order, second element in the array. I will change this ID to 200. Order number also I will change accordingly. Invoice number also I will change accordingly. And create date I will change to 5. Ship date to 6. Amount I will change to 8200. So this is the array of the orders example. Now I will create one more example. I will click plus sign. I will click new file, type example, and this I will give the name order example, no ID. I will go to the order examples. I will copy the value and paste it here. Now this example is with no ID, so I will remove the ID. So examples are ready. So let me explain. This example we'll use for when we are actually getting a single order or sending a single order to an HTTP method. This one we'll use for the post method when we are sending request. That time we are not going to send ID, we only sending value of the other fields other than the ID. We are not going to send any ID because the ID will be created in the backend. And this orders example we'll use when we retrieve the multiple orders, array of the orders in the get all orders endpoint. Now I will go to the order.raml. Now I will create the specification. I will specify types. I will reference the file. So I will give the order type and the definition, we will reference it. So I will use the include. It is in the data type folder and name of the file is order type.raml. Now I will define the endpoint. I will use the slash orders colon. Now for creating a new record, we will use post method. For retrieving all order, we will use the get method. For retrieving the single order, we will use the slash orders slash ID and then get method. And for delete, we will use slash orders slash ID delete method. And for updating the order, we will use slash orders slash ID put method. So let me define the create order method first. So for creating order, I'm going to use post method, and post method need to send a body. So we'll use body. Now we will use a media type as application JSON. So we'll select application JSON type. We will send order type. Example. We will reference the example. So we'll use include. It's an example folder. And we will select order example no ID. Because when we'll create the order, we are not going to send any ID. So we'll use this example. Now we need to define response. So under responses, we will get back the 201 HTTP code. So we'll define the body for 201. Media type application JSON because we want to get back the result in application JSON format. An example, we will say message order created. Now for retrieving orders, I will use get method. For get method, I don't have to define request body. I have to define responses. So I will type responses and we will get 200 HTTP code in the response. I will define body and media type as application JSON because we want application JSON should be returned. Type for get orders, we need to define array. So I will type orders and then I will add brackets. So it will be array of the order type. Examples. For example, I will reference the file. So I will use include. Directory is example, orders, example.raml. Now for single order retrieval, single order delete, and single order update, we will use slash id, where slash id is URI parameter. Now under slash order slash id to retrieve a single record, I will use get method. Now I need to specify responses. Get method will return 200 HTTP code. I will define body, media type application JSON, type, you will get a single order. So we'll define type order type. Example, I will use include example directory, order, example. So it will return single order. Now to delete a single order, we will use delete method. I will define responses. It will return 200 HTTP code. Body, media type application JSON. Example, message, order, deleted. Now for updating a single order, we'll use put method. We need to send a request. So we'll define body, media type application JSON, type, we'll send order type. Example, include example directory, order example. We'll send a single order. So we have defined all the endpoints, and we can see in the documentation right here, we can see that post, get under orders, we can see under orders slash id, get, delete, and put. This is for updating and getting and deleting single order, and this is for creating a new order and getting orders, getting all orders. And right here, this is for getting single order, deleting single order, and updating single order. Now there is one error. This one we can see in the red. So let's observe this. Here we are not providing ID, and in this example we are providing ID, and in the type definition, here ID is mandatory field, so we'll make this optional. So to make it optional, I will add question mark. Now this is optional. So let's go back to order.raml. Now error has gone. We don't have any error now. If you want to add, we can add description also to these methods. So under post, we can say description, create order, under get, description, get orders, under slash id get, description, get order by id, under delete, description, get, delete order by id, under put, description, update order by ID. So we added some description. Now we can test this. So under documentation, you can click post method. We can see this documentation. All the fields are defined. So description is coming here, create order. So this method creates the order. Now using mock service, we can test it. So we'll click the try it. Now we got this sample payload. We will send this sample payload and invoke this service. Click send. We got the result 201 status code order created. Now go back to documentation. Now we'll test the get orders. Get orders. Click try it. Click send. We got the array of the orders, order ID 100 and order ID 200. So we got array of 2 orders. Go back to documentation. Now under ID, we can get a single record. Click try it. Now here we need to send ID as URI parameter. I will send 100. Click send. So we got the result. Go back to documentation. Now click delete. Click try it. Now we can delete order 100. Click send. We got the message order deleted. Go back to documentation. Now we'll test the put method. Click put. Click try it. We'll update the order number 100. This is the payload that we are going to send to this endpoint. Click send. 200 okay, that's good. Okay, the response, we didn't get a proper response. We have empty response. I think we didn't edit the response inside the API specification. So under the port, I will add responses. I will add HTTP code 200. Body. It will return application JSON. Example. Message. Order. Updated. Now click on documentation. Click put. Click try it. Now we'll update 100. We will send this payload. Click send. We got the 200 response and we got the message order updated. We tested all the endpoints. Now we can publish this to the exchange. So I will click the publish button. Publish to exchange. Here I will give the asset version to 1.0.0 and API version v1, and I will click publish to exchange. Okay, our API specification has been published successfully to the exchange. I will click exchange. So this is our API that we published just now. We can see the order endpoint, post and get is there. Then under ID, we have get, delete, put. So we got our API. We can update the heading, order, API. We can add some description. This is order API. If we want, we can test also using mocking service. You can see all the field names are defined here and explaining example payload. We can, for testing, we can click the send button. This is the payload will be sent. We got the result 201 order created. So this way we can test the other endpoint as well in Exchange also. Your other team member can come and they can search the order API. They can read the description. They can test it in Exchange. They can download also. So this API you can publish to the public portal as well, and you can share with others. So this is all in this video. I hope you understood how we can design the API for a given requirement, how to create API specification in the design center, how to create different endpoints, how to test your API in design center, then how to publish in Exchange, and how you can add the description to the API in Exchange. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, subscribe the channel and hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.